Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Galloway, the author of Wired. First and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in with me today. Today, I'm going to have a young man on by the name of Jamari Smith. Very talented and bright young man who took it upon himself to want to purchase one of my books. When I say young man, he's a kid, not a young man as in high school, but from the younger generation. And he took the opportunity one day to ask me to buy my book, which I felt very blown away by that. But instead of him buying, I gave him a book. He actually read it, gave some great feedback. So I wanted to bring him on. As you guys know, I'll be doing a series interviewing every single actor and probably some crew members from the Wired short film that we just recently shot. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Wire, um, you've probably seen it floating around in three different versions. This was the original version of Wired that I did with my first publishing company, which I will not name. And then I decided to upgrade and do myself my own personal cover, which is the limited edition cover. So yeah. And then I took it upon myself to redesign the cover and actually added some content to this last copy. Made it a little more personal. I put my son, Edward Galloway Jr., on the front of it because I wanted to have a personal touch. And again, I added some more content to the book that you guys may or may not notice if you read the first version. With that being said, we're going to jump right in. We're going to get Jamari in here, and I'm going to ask him some questions. He's going to ask me some questions. We're just going to have a little fun with it. First and foremost, we're going to say what's up to all our listeners out there and our viewers. I got Jamari Smith with me, who is he's an avid supporter of the book, and I say he's an avid supporter of the book, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm actually a barber as well, so I cut Jamari's hair. And if I remember the first, one of the days you came over, when you found out I wrote a book, you wanted to buy the book, right? It was like, I want to buy it. And so that took me, it was deep. I felt an emotional connection because like not too many kids, you don't see them just come up to someone saying, hey, I want to buy your book. But, you came forward and said you want to buy it. So that's when I turned around and said, you know what? All right, I'm gonna give this young man a book because I really appreciate the fact that he wants the book in general. So, yeah. First question I want to ask you is, how was the book? Did you enjoy it?
It was really memorable and inspirational to me.
Okay, emotional. That's what I like to hear. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was, and I think it's kind of off script, but I'm going to ask. I want to know like how long did it take you to read the book? Because I've had to where some kids were diving into the book and, they would read like 40, 50 pages on end before finding a stopping point. But how long did it take you to read the book?
Okay. Can I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah, definitely. I love stories.
I read the book. It took me like 2 days to get to page 100. On the page 100, I couldn't find the book. So then I searched around my entire house, and after like the next 2 days, I found it. I was going crazy.
That's good. He's really trying to find the book. That's what's up. All right. Cool. So, very first question that we'll go back and forth. Like I'll ask you a question, and I'll let you ask me a question, and that's how we'll do the format. What did you think about the story in itself?
The story in itself?
Yeah. What did you think about the story?
Well, if I had to give I think it's like it teaches. It's like inspirational. So let me explain. Like it teaches like a lesson. Like when like you get the spotlight, you gotta go take it.
True. I like that. Okay. All right, your turn. You get to shoot off a question now.
All right. So the first question I'm gonna ask is, what led you to making your book or and movie?
In the movie, I like how you threw that one in there. I know that some people don't know about the movie yet. That's good. We're gonna throw that in there. What led me to write Wired? I've been coaching youth football for years now. I mean, 15 years. I've had a nice support group, that when I started, other people like Willie Martinez, one of my friends, JD, he's up in Arizona, Herman Atkins. We kind of developed this strong bond with kids, and we've seen so many kids go through so many different variations of life to where at some point I was like, man, I want to write a story. I wanted to have a Disney catch to it, feel Disney-ish, but I also wanted to really prove a point about what athletes go through, because a lot of athletes, they deal with some kind of loss. It doesn't have to be, a death in the family like Wired. It could be some other type of loss, but sometimes they don't know how to bounce back. So I wanted to write Wired as a tool for the kids to bounce back and kind of say, and have these different people in their lives, as in the book, the coaches, the therapists, these different people that help the kid bounce back. But that's what made me go with writing the book, and then, like you said, jumping into the movie. I've always wanted to see it turn into a screenplay. I feel that it's a powerful piece that if played by the right actors, which I definitely like to send a big shout out to all the actors, because they're going to come in. I let you lead the way, but they're going to come in and do their interviews sometime this week and so forth. But I felt like it was something that needed to be seen as well as heard. Great cast, crew that are going to definitely make this book stand out. So I definitely appreciate them. That's about it. That's why I did it.
Okay.
All right. All right, your turn. Let me see what I had next. So, why would you tell people to go read Wired?
All right. So me, like most kids, most kids hate reading. Like I don't like reading like at all. If my mom told me to go pick up a book, I would probably do it, but I would read for like 30 minutes, and then I don't know, like 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'd probably fall asleep. Wired was actually the only book that like made me actually want to read it.
That's good, man. That is good. I'd love to hear that. Hey, you heard it. He didn't fall asleep on Wired, so you guys go out and get that. All right, you're up. What you got for me next?
All right, so what connection does Justin have with Ladarius? Like, as in, like, are they like childhood friends, or like just like how did they meet?
Um, they met as childhood friends. They started off in that Pop Warner community ball. 'Cause, when kids are young, 7, 8, 9, they start playing Pop Warner ball. So that's where they met, and they were like the best of friends. But Ladarius was the kid that was kind of, he was the friend of the superstar. So when you're young and your best friend is the star of the football team, you kind of just ride on his coattail, and you're happy for him. And that's how Ladarius was. Ladarius was happy for for the success, and when the tables turned, when Ladarius became the superstar, Justin was the one that had all the envy, which, that's not what we should learn in life. It's like, if you're my friend and whether or not you're on top, I'm still your friend. But if something happened and it shifted and I became on top, I would expect you to be my friend the same way. But Justin, he didn't follow the code. So that's why things get a little rocky in the book, as you read and
Yeah.
seen the conflict with him. Yeah, good question. Good question. All right. What was your most memorable part of the book?
I think I think it was I think it was the part with Tyler and and Ladarius. Then when like Ladarius lost his father, and then the entire group met up, like with Sarah, Justin, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that was the most memorable part because like it kind of it gave some insight on like who Tyler is because I thought Tyler was just like a football like he used to be the quarterback, and then Ladarius took his spot, but nah. But then I realized that Tyler was actually one of his friends.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We got to backtrack a little bit. I just now realized what you said. When you asked the question, you asked about Justin, which Justin was one of the wide receivers. So Justin was kind of like that third friend that was in the crew. Okay, so to go back to that question, so I forgot pardon to my viewers. So Tyler is the arch nemesis, but Justin is kind of like that third friend. He grew up with him. You know, he had his spot on the team. He wasn't a wasn't a playmaker. He wasn't the worst guy, but he's always been that third friend. You know, you had that third friend that's kind of always there in the middle of your dispute saying, you know, hey man, like chill out, he didn't mean it, or yeah man, you're going too far. He's kind of like that mediator, but Justin was definitely a friend of both Tyler and Ladarius is growing up, and of course in high school he's still there in the middle of everything, trying to keep everything down. But yeah.
All right.
So I should have paid attention. I wasn't even paying attention. All right, let's see. All right, final question. Not the final question, but who is your favorite character and why?
Who's my favorite character?
Favorite character in the book and why?
Tyler.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Ooh, why Tyler? That's a good one. I like to hear this one.
So, like, you know how cause you can like bond with him. Whenever like you have like that one friend who's always like good at something, and you just kind of want to be as good as them or better. Like Tyler, he kind of reminds me of me because like all like my friends they're all like really good in like basketball, or they're like good at baseball and stuff. I don't really know like what I want to do in life besides like coding because I find games fun.
Okay.
Tyler knows that he wants to be a good football player, but
okay.
He's my favorite character. But there's also some parts that I don't like about him because like he has the opportunity to change himself like instead of like bullying and making fun of Ladarius, like he could have actually like took that time to get better.
I like that. Yeah, he could have took the time to work on himself, and that's funny. I was just watching a show on Netflix today where the same thing happened, where you had a kid instead of him, worrying about the other person and wanting to, not wanting him to take his position. If he would have focused on himself and his skills, it probably would have showed anyway and would have got better. And that's one of the things that we fail to do in life is, take the talent that we have, and instead of letting someone suck that talent from us or envy someone else that's, talented and wanting their spot and wishing, all the bad things in the world on them. Sometimes we just worry and focus on ourselves and our craft, train harder. We let the work speak for itself that we put in. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So I can see how you kind of have that love hate with Tyler. So
yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Any more questions for me?
Yes. Why didn't Jack go to the NFL? Since in the book it was explained that like he had a lot of talent and he was a really good football player.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to know that.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think I revealed or got that deep into it, and I probably should have. But you're right. Like Jack, he was literally that high school, he was the high school legend, and you would have thought that. You would have thought that the author writing the book would have led Jack's story in there. But that's a good catch. I didn't lead in with anything with Jack, but if I'd have to come up with a reason to say Jack didn't make it to the next level but wanted his son to, I would say he blew out his knee. I think that's a good excuse to not make it to the next level, because most colleges, when you blow out your knees and any kind of leg injuries, they kind of, especially as a running back, they don't want to take that chance on you. So, seeing that the author didn't write in the reason why Jack didn't make it, if he had wrote it in, it would be because of a blown out knee and he didn't make it to the pros, but he basically put all his time and efforts into making sure his son made it to those levels that he couldn't make it to. Great question. Great question. Any more? That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it? All right. So we're going to do what I call the lightning round questions. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you got to pretty much answer them as quick as you can without much thinking on it. All right? All right. So you're stuck in your room with one book to read. What book would you read over and over for 48 hours?
For 48 hours?
Uh-huh. If you had to read it over and over.
If we're talking about books, then yeah, I'm gonna say Wired, because that's probably,
there we go.
That's probably the only book I never read like once again. Like I already did it on Saturday, so might as well.
That's a good answer. I like that. All right, fill in the blank. I can't live without what? What's something you gotta have? You can't live without.
Something I gotta have?
Yeah, in life. What do you like?
I like money.
Money? Can't live without money. Yeah, that's cool. That's that's good.
Everything I like, you have to have money for. So I'm gonna say money.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. I think that's it. I can't think of anything else to ask you. It's been great having you come in and talk about the book, Jamari. And like I said, I wanted to bring you in, and I wanted to start off with you because, again, I think it was very touching when you literally showed up, to get a haircut, and he was like, I heard you wrote a book and you wanted to buy it. And like I said, I wanted to make sure I delivered it to you. And then when you came back and told me you read it, and told me, you loved it, the next time we met up, that just let me know that you definitely devoted the time and energy into reading in it. And then to hear you talk about it the way you did, let me know that you were very excited about it. And yeah, it definitely meant a lot to me. So I thank you for coming in and taking the time. And I definitely want to send you away with, I don't know if you had the chance or you heard about it, my board game I created.
You created a board game?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
So yeah, it's called Flick It Football.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tabletop board game. You and your uncle play it. He'll probably be able to tell you about it. It's, back in the days, we used to fold a piece of paper and flick it back and forth, and whoever got it to hang off the edge of the table without it falling off, it would be a touchdown. But now there's a full board game in the length of a little mini football field, and so now you're just flicking it, trying to get the ball to land in the end zone. It's a very great game. Also available on Amazon too with the book. But definitely want you to have that. Of course, I want you to take a shot at it. If you go to the website, that's on there. It'll show you like the directions on how to play it, and then that way, I want you to come back the next time and tell me how you beat your uncle, and in that way, we'll have something else to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, but definitely thank you for coming in. Hope you enjoy the game, and yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ed.
No problem at all.
Thank you for that opportunity, man. Gotta learn how to talk a little bit more, man. I was scared of talking, and you come right back underneath me.
I thank you guys. That was great, man. That was dope.
No, you helped a lot, man. Thank you.